Alright, here we go. So this game came up on a podcast, and I remember playing it.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base.
It was basically a
They
choose your own
needed a game
adventure
changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced.
platformer.
Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're gonna take this one because I've already done the other two.
The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis stone. It sounded ominous.
I like Iblis.
It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it,
Iblis
it must be
stone.
dangerous. And so, Renato went ostrich hunting.
Sorry, that's my spoon in my coffee. Coffee. Just got back from Omicron, and while we had a lot of fun there, a lot of fun, it's very nice to be home drinking my own coffee again. Because hotel coffee is never woof. And the hotel we stayed at, never staying there again. But we had a lot of fun. Went to some good panels.
Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis stone? Long hidden in a buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals?
Square is open. Okay. I think that's to upgrade my... Nope. Nope. Oop. I forget what that does. Okay. Water essence. Nope. Oh, there we go. Need wind essence for that one. Oh, so that's... I've only got one more to go. Starts at maximum level. Need more water essence. More water essence and more wind essence. What are my gems? Elemental resistance. I have not found these gems yet. Okay. Alright. It's all coming back to me now. It's all coming back to me now.
Renato distrusted doors that opened automatically, especially after being buried for millennia. Was this some sort of trap?
Mm-hmm.
Come over here.
Okay. Whoop, whoop. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. What happened there?
There was a radiance at the end of a long, dark tunnel. Mother?
Mother?
He thought.
Yeah, restart from last checkpoint. Man, I haven't played this in a while. Okay, so dash, grab, swing. Okay. Nope, nope. Triangle.
Everybody knew you shouldn't trust a raven further than you could throw one. But did vertical drop count?
Ah, I'm terrible at this. It's been too long. Hi. I'm trying to use that to smash this button. Crap.
What dreams may come, he thought.
Man.
Then
He
he found out.
No. It's... Fire sword? Let's try the fire sword.
Those sheaves were really very well made, weren't they?
Nope. Ah, did it again.
Long live the Emperor! Called the ravens.
Whoop. Ah ha
We'll
ha.
always have Paris, he thought. And then he died.
Yep. Terrible.
Ravens were already
Made it.
here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good. Then he hadn't come too late.
Oh, thank you, help. One skill point available. Okay. Attack narcotics. Stamina. That's hard though. Well, that sounds cool.
Haven't you always wanted to do that?
Yep. It's in an awkward spot on the button though.
Should have done a barrel roll, he thought, as he died.
Barrel roll. Got it. Funny. Alright. Okay, got it. Oh, you did it. Got it. Okay. I'm getting the rhythm back. Instead of ducking away, you're supposed to counterattack when they strike.
He was practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things.
Well, health. Health is useful. Find the stone. You've been chosen critical mission. Ignore the voice in your head. Okay.
Wait, what? How was he outside? Hadn't he taken an elevator into the depths of the earth?
Yeah, magic. We'll just call it magic. Okay, we'll open this. Alright. Oh man. What? What? Ah! Ah! Now there. Okay. Whoa.
These platforms are great. Renato wanted one for his house.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Bum bum bum. Slow motion. Okay, there we go. Alright. Oh. Hot.
He felt like Tarzan.
I have not found other things. Open. And elemental resistance level 2. Okay. Oh, it just automatically. Alright. Well,
how could the temple to Iblis still even exist? The Transcendent Emperor had destroyed all the shrines of the lost gods after exiling them. Had it been buried in that long-ago battle? Or had Iblis foreseen his fate and hidden it from his enemy?
I don't know. Maybe little column A, little column B? Whoop!
He really wasn't making a dent in those shields.
Combo breaker. Funny. I'm sorry, what?
The Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
So what about me? That doesn't bode well. Okay. Dash through enemies. Target an enemy with dash move. Throw him and cause damage. Does not work on ship. Sure.
Renato hated cannon traps. Also, who reloaded these things anyway? He never figured that part out.
Whoa.
This could be good for global warming.
There we go. We figured it out. We are smart. We can't combat for crap, but we are smart.
It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. Who said that? It was the stone. Eager, thirsty. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Renato wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. "What's the core?" said the stone anxiously. What you want. The stone bothered him. He hated being told what to do. Wasn't that why he joined the rebellion? Wasn't that why he'd refused to be a soldier? He'd agreed to come on board only if he could freelance. The stone felt a bit clingy. The sage Calaveras had told him where to find the Skyripper, a weapon capable of challenging the gods. Even without its armature, the core would still possess great power. He would go there.
I wonder if there's a right way through this. Or if the whole point is that there is no right way through this.
The moment he landed the Farfarer, Renato had a rare feeling of regret. It's not too late, he thought. He could turn around and sail for Zenobia's island. He frowned. Wait a minute. He didn't want to kill Zenobia, did he? Sure, technically she was the enemy, but they'd been at sword food school together. They'd never been lovers, but somehow they'd been closer. She'd told him every secret about herself. Except the biggest one. That she was the Emperor's daughter. No. Kill Zenobia, whispered the stone.
Whoop.
Before it's too late.
Well, I screwed up there. turn. Nope.
The waterfall was spectacular.
Oh well.
Well, you had to enjoy these things as they came. We pass this way but once.
Yeah, we're getting back in this. I'm not totally lost here. Rocks.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Uh-huh.
Once you try it, you're hooked.
Huh?
The stone hadn't lied about what it could do for him. With each raven he cut down, he felt a jolt of power flowing into his arm. "You're weak," whispered the stone. "The call will kill you. Are you afraid of it?" "No, don't be ridiculous," it chuckled. "But it's unstable. It will poison you as much as carry it, and if you try to use it, it will explode catastrophically." Reynardo did not trust rocks that talked in his head.
Nope.
He went onwards.
Amen to that, brother. Don't trust the rocks. I think anything talking in your head is generally a bad plan.
"I think this is yours," said Reynardo. But he couldn't hear his enemy's answer.
Hey, I found a gem. Whoop. Just a way to where we started? Weird. Okay, we'll go this way. Find a way. Oh, I gotta remember I need health back.
Of course there was a puzzle. You couldn't expect the transcendent Emperor to bury a god's eye in a leather sack where anyone could pick it up.
That's a little up. Look for the forge. Hey, come back.
Didn't smell any better dead, Renato thought.
What does a raven smell like? Never thought about it before. Right.
As he approached the core, the stone became hysterical. No, it's too much power. We'll rip a hole in space and time. He had a sudden vision of plunging his gauntlet into the core and dying in anguish. That wasn't his vision, was it? The stone had sent him its darkest fears, hadn't it? He had a sudden impulse to do exactly that. He raised his right fist and plunged it into the core. There was a rush of light. He thought he could hear the stone screaming. And then he passed out. When Renato came to, the core was gone. But the Iblis stone was no longer black, but glowing with a blue light. And it was silent. I can't hear you, he sang out. You? It didn't answer. Ha, he said. He had defeated the demonic gem with the power of his mind. He felt invincible. It was time to attack the Imperial outpost on the Nexus. Take the battle to the enemy. But among the huge crystals, there was also an observatory. A wise man would probably ask the scientists exactly what he had first. How wise was he?
Yeah, so there are all these stories. So we have to find out the 4 truths. What are the truths we have to find out? Oh, about the dark eye thing and the...
As the Farfarer made its way toward the Nexus, Renato watched sparks fly out of the core. The Iblis stone sucked them in hungrily. You'd think the stone would want this kind of power, wouldn't it? Thought Renato. Well, the scientists would explain it all.
This time, Renato was sure he'd figured out how to use the core safely.
Or we hope. Because, you know, sciencey stuff. By the way, I'm sorry about clearing my throat. I still have a bit of a cold that I'm getting over.
See? He'd trusted his gut, and it had worked out. That's what it meant to be a hero. To ignore the naysayers and the odd-makers, and do what you knew was right, and have it turn out to be the right thing. No, he wasn't worried. Once he got to the observatory, the scientist toads could explain it. Then he could carry the war into the enemy's camp and destroy them all. Oh dear, he was getting a little bloodthirsty, wasn't he?
Think of all the artisans he was creating employment for. Truly, he was a job creator.
Okay. Must smash all the stones. It's like if there's a barrel in other games. You can't just leave barrels.
He wished there were more pylons he could use the hook on. They really needed to construct additional pylons.
You did it. Okay. Came back here to go up here? Okay, yeah, there we go. No. There we go. Oh. Nope. Open the door. Oh. Okay, got it. All done. Alright. One more rock. One more. Rock. Ease the rocks. Is that water essence? Nope. Okay. Oh,
Bernardo
there.
had never felt better in his life. Normally, a battle would wear him down and he would need a night's sleep. Now he felt like he could go all night and all day. He felt like people were cheering him on, and he could practically hear their applause as he slew one raven after another.
That's not good.
The Imperial fleet was closing in on the rebels, forcing them to come out and fight. Bernardo was itching to bring the fight to the enemy. He had to remind himself not to be too reckless.
Well, yeah.
There was an inscription.
Oh.
Praised the sun.
Nice.
Can you guys actually tell each other apart? Because I'm thinking name tags.
Barely landed a claw on him.
Wind essence. Well, I guess there's no real point in giving me the older ones.
The toads at the observatory measured the stone with their occult devices. I fed it the core of Sky Ripper, explained Renato. No more feed blood and souls.
But the core is not an unlimited energy source,
said one toad. Another said,
there's a feedback loop, you see, which could overload the stone.
The stone doesn't actually feed on souls,
claimed a third.
but on pain of killing another sentient being. If you can truly be at peace with yourself, it will not overload.
This was all very confusing. At peace. Yes, the mountains were peaceful and quiet, but he now had the power to turn the tides. He should report to the Rebellion Council and prepare for the decisive battle. The one thing he understood from all the Toad arguments, maybe the stone did not feed on blood or souls or rage. It fed on empathy. It fed on the pain he felt when he put an end to another being's existence. Even if that other being was a raven intent on killing him, if he could find peace, then he could use the power of the Ibla Stone without being taken over by its evil. The mountains. He would go to the mountains. He could find peace there.
Not really, but maybe. I mean, I went to the mountains and all I got was cold.
Unfortunately, the mountains were not empty. There were ravens everywhere. No matter. He had to fight, yes, but he didn't have to be angry. Parry, dodge, slash, and breathe. Yes, focus on the rhythm, the dance of it, not on the blood or the raven's core as they died. Ah, it was working. He wasn't feeling those dark jolts of eldritch energy. He wasn't feeding the Iblis Stone. He was sort of yanking his own chain, wasn't he?
Excuse me.
This was definitely better than pulling yourself up in a bucket. The stone was still silent. His mind was his own, and his heart too. He bore them no ill will, these ravens. They were doing their job. They were expressing their nature. Dance, whirl, parry, jab, and breathe. It was all so simple, wasn't it? Something was missing. He didn't feel truly at peace. Wait. Wasn't this near a Calavera slough? The sage would help him figure it all out.
Style, good, imperfect.
Renata felt ready to take on new powers.
Oh. Can you go back down? Can I go back down?
That was good. Was it good for you?
Who was that?
Who made all these ore chests anyway? Well, you could have quite a business doing that.
Danced around the room yelling, oh yeah, that's how we do it. It was something he liked to do, but only after he'd killed all the witnesses.
Oop. I don't remember what happens at the top of this. I mean, I can kind of guess, but... Nope.
Once, he found a Superman issue #1 in mint condition in a jar he'd broken. He planned to keep breaking things until he had the whole series.
You make fun of it. No. Nope. Oh well. How do I get over there?
The Iblis Stone, silenced by the Sky Ripper's core, had given Renato enough power to challenge the Imperial fleet. But what Renato was seeking was inner peace. The rebellion was on the verge of extinction, but it would have to wait.
Alright, and... Where are we?
Truth was, Renato really liked the sound his sword made in the air.
At the end of the mountain path, he found the wise Calaveras in his workshop. "Do fixed souls or only artifacts?" he asked the sage.
Does your soul need fixing?
Asked the sage. I've been killing a lot of ravens lately, he told the sage.
You're a fox,
Said Calaveras.
and to kill birds is part of your nature. Take joy in it. I mean, I might as well worry about eating flies. Would you like a fly?
It was true. That's what he had forgotten. The joy. Now he was ready for the final battle. The Farfarer cut through the clouds. The air had never felt so sweet since he was a child. There it was. The dreaded Imperial fleet. He could smell wet hemp ropes ahead. Wood and tar and ravens. Even the fleet smelt good, somehow. He was ready. He was ready.
Brr.
Renato had it all squared away in his head. He would kill the Emperor. Isengrim III had begun well, but he had gone mad. He was trying to invoke the lost gods by means of dark, blasphemous rituals. That was a secret. But the victims had spoken to Renato. The ghosts had spoken. No. No anger. Renato could not afford anger. It was empowering the crystal in his sword. That made him stronger, but it clouded his mind. He would not be a hero. A hero strives. Renato one with everything. The Emperor would die, and the wheel would turn, and all would be restored without rancor, without sorrow, without pain.
Okay. Mostly creepy, but... Ugh. What's over here? Aha! Chest. Water essence. I don't want water essence. I want wind essence.
Don't look down, he thought.
Okay, thank you.
Sometimes, Renato really hated inanimate objects.
Mm-hmm. I will kill all the boxes. Nope. Ah, crap. Missed the work.
A very clever engineer named Elon Muskrat had got his start making floating platforms.
Oh.
Not many people knew that.
Get it, Elon Muskrat?
Renato checked to make sure his sword was still working. Yep.
I love the snarky narrator. Is this why I normally bad at that?
How we do it, said Renato to himself.
Because everyone else was dead.
But the more he thought about it, and he had so much more time to think about it now that he was not worrying about the battle, killing the Emperor would not change anything. Another would take his place. Perhaps Zenobia. Perhaps the Speaker of the Rebel Council, and power would corrupt them too, and death would make grief, and grief would lead to hatred. He must lead by example. Reject the violence. Reject the desire to create violence. But how?
We're turning into Gandhi this late in the game. Weird. But okay.
No one could beat Renato at hot potato.
That's such a weird game. Alright.
Soon he'd confront the Emperor. Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there?
I honestly don't remember this part of the game. And I kind of remember some of it, but... Whoop. Yeah, I don't see a way to go back.
Finally, he came to the Emperor's ship. The path behind him was strewn with dead ravens. The path to enlightenment. His mistake, he realized, was trying to change the world. The world would spin and the wheel would revolve whether he strove against it or not. What he had to do was nothing. He had attained enlightenment. He sat down, adopted a full lotus position, and began to meditate. And all around him, the warriors stopped fighting too. They knew. They could feel his enlightenment. They gave up fighting, dropped their weapons, and became his disciples. No, just kidding. The nearest raven stabbed him with a sword and then chopped off his head. I might not have thought this through properly. Thought Renato's head as it rolled around the deck and died. And just like that, he was alive again. And back on the Farfarer, still fleeing burning Ubar. The book was still open before him. So, the book was a portal. It took you to the future, when your destinies would branch. He had failed and died 3 times, but he'd learned another true thing. The Iblis Stone was evil. It would try to corrupt anyone who used it.
Yep. Alright, so that's basically the crux of the game.
But he was starting to feel like he was getting the hang of this. There was a way through to victory. He could feel it. He just had to keep running the path of Destinies. With that, the book fluttered back to the beginning, and he fell into it. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas.
And then it starts back over.
It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base.
Oop.
They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Bernardo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
But there you go. That's the basic gist of it. And then you go back through each of the levels. And then they're branching and crossing paths. And who you go where depends on what you choose. Pretty cool game. Thank you very much for joining me for my morning coffee. And have a great day.